Quint's podcast.
Vivek Agnihotri's new film, The Kashmir Files, that focuses on the events surrounding the exodus of Kashmiri Pandits between the late 80s and the early 90s, has been triggering a lot of responses from day one. It's also perhaps one of the few Bollywood film releases of the COVID era that continues to be at the box office for 10 days now with steady earnings. For comparison, Gangubai Kathiawadi starring A-lister Alia Bhatt, that was released on February 25th, earned rupees 117 crores domestically in 3 weeks. But recently, after raking up its highest one-day collection yet of rupees 26.20 crores on 20th March Sunday, the Kashmir Files' total earnings now stand at rupees 167 crores roughly. And this is just in 10 days. But at the same time, Vivek Agnihotri's film has sparked a political storm, with debates around what the film depicts and how polarized its reception has been on the ground. While some feel that it's about time that the painful story of Kashmiri Pandits be shared with the country unabashedly, others believe that in the process of dramatization, it strays from facts, and the Kashmir Files end up vilifying and generalizing Kashmiri Muslims. But amid this cacophony of arguments and counter-arguments, a big question is, who is the film for? Does it serve the purpose of representing the plight of Kashmiri Pandits, or does it get politically co-opted? In this episode of The Big Story, I'll be joined by Aditya Raj Kaul, the executive editor of TV9 Network and a Kashmiri Pandit himself, and Suneem Khan, a medical doctor with CRPF at Srinagar, who describes himself to be a cinephile. And we'll hear from our guests their views of what the film does and doesn't. You're tuned in to The Big Story, the podcast where we dissect the headline-making news for you. I'm your host, Shalburi. The Kashmir Files, featuring Anupam Kher, Mithun Chakrabarti and Pallavi Joshi among others, is not the first film that has been made around the exodus of Kashmiri Pandits. Vidhu Vinod Chopra's Shikhara, that was released in 2020, attempted to show the love story of a Kashmiri Pandit couple at the peak of insurgency in Kashmir, but it ended up receiving mixed responses. But part of the reason that the Kashmir Files has been creating waves is not simply because of what's on screen, but also because of all that's been happening off screen around the film. For starters, several videos have been getting circulated around from when it got released on 11th March, capturing the kind of emotions that this movie has been evoking. While some videos capture the cathartic responses from families of Kashmiri Pandits who had to witness violence in the valley and leave their homes behind, simultaneously, some viral videos also show people shouting hate slogans at theatres after watching the film and calling for the extermination of Muslims. Moreover, the film has managed to trigger debates among political parties. As several BJP-governed states exempted the movie from the entertainment tax, allegations arose from opposition quarters accusing the BJP of trying to promote the film as an election strategy for Gujarat and Rajasthan polls. So let's get back to the main question. Who is the film for? Does it serve the purpose of representing the plight of Kashmiri Pandits, or does it get politically co-opted? We take this question to both our guests in this episode. First, we'll hear from Aditya Raj Kaul, who says that rarely has a mainstream movie taken up the story of Kashmiri Pandits. He believes that instead of debates on the rhetoric, the film should raise questions on whether the successive governments have done anything for this community.
See, one thing that I need to understand is that for long enough, the plight of Kashmiri Pandits has been ignored. And by all dispensations, it does not matter which political party was in power, all the successive governments have failed them. And not just the governments, when it comes to the mainstream media and also comes to the, Bollywood or any representation of art or, writing, people have not depicted the reality of what really happened. So, it is only like Kashmiri Pandits who actually came forward to depict their own reality. For instance, Rahul Pandita wrote an amazing book called Our Moon is Blood Clots, which immediately became a bestseller. And then in the early 90s, I remember a film director known as Ashok Pandit, who had made a documentary called And the World Remains Silent. That was perhaps one of the only, documentaries that was made on the subject, and the only, representation in the mainstream press that was accurately pointing to the exodus and what actually happened in Kashmir, the terrorism, was, the news track by Madhu Trehan and Manoj Raghuvanshi. So they still have the entire video on their website and YouTube, which actually interviewed Bitta Karate, the terrorist, and also did ground reportage both from Kashmir and from the camps of Kashmiri Pandits in Jammu. So why was this deliberate silence there for 32 years is the question. And now that the film has come, it is not, I don't feel that there is any controversy. I personally do not feel that there is any kind of dissent against the film. It is only in some sections, in some metros in India. Overall, I think the film is a success. Now, I do not have to comment on the political leanings of the director or anybody in the film. That is completely separate, and the film is separate. And you have to, understand that, this was a film that was made in 14 CR. And the kind of reception that it has received is only because the public has approved it. And it's not because, Salman Khan is there or Shah Rukh Khan is there, or, there's a huge marketing campaign that was involved in this film. And people are saying that the Prime Minister has backed it. Prime Minister also backed it much later. Already it was a successful film. So I do not see any, controversy around it. But unfortunately, what has happened is that there are two arguments that are happening on social media and elsewhere. One is that what should be the terminology to call what happened. Was it exodus? Was it ethnic cleansing? Was it genocide? And the second debate is that how many Kashmiri Pandits were killed? Was it 200? Was it 500? Or was it 5,000? So I think this is ridiculous. I mean, this is, aggravating the pain and scratching the wound of Kashmiri Pandits by such illogical debates. The debate should be, what is the government of the day going to do about it? The debate should be, have the government really helped the Kashmiri Pandits, or have they been silent? Be it the Congress government, be it the BJP government, or the present Modi government.
Dr. Suneem Khan says that if the movie is to be seen as an eye-opener for the forgotten and undeniable truth of Kashmiri Pandits, or as a cinematic experience, then it does its job. His concern, in his own words, are when the truth of one Holocaust becomes the fulcrum for another.
First of all, it is not for me to comment whether there's a political motive behind the film or not. I leave it to the relevant people because it's not my mandate. Yes, I have seen the film as a cinephile, as a person who's keen into films. I have my take on the film, not only as a cinephile, not only as a film lover, but as a Kashmiri as well. Now, when we say film, you have to underscore that it's a cinematic experience, it's a filmic experience, and not something which would qualify as a docu-series. Bunch of facts. As I say, a filmic experience, a cinematic experience, and the filmmakers have tried to intertwine the threads of the truth, undeniable truth of the exodus of Kashmiri Pandits, and ugly truth of the exodus of Kashmiri Pandits into smooth braids to be presented on the celluloid. My only concern is that if it is to be taken as a cinematic experience, an eye-opener for remembering something which was forgotten in down the history.
Right.
I'm absolutely okay with it. If it is to be an eye-opener to make sure that something like this never happens in the future, I am absolutely okay with that. My disagreement and my problem starts when the truth of one Holocaust becomes a fulcrum for another.
Right. Now, it wasn't just one event that led up to the exodus of Kashmiri Pandits from the valley. From rigged elections to attacks on Kashmiri Pandits and Hindu temples, a wave of killings targeting prominent personalities from both Kashmiri Pandit and Muslim communities, to the release of JKLF militants, the rise of insurgency, and even the ripples of Babri Masjid demolition that was felt across India. It was all a complex set of events that led to the killing and exodus of Kashmiri Pandits. And there are varying figures on the total number of Kashmiri Pandits who were killed in this period. While the Kashmir Pandit Sangharsh Samiti says that 399 people were killed, other estimates go over 1,000. The film pegs the number of deaths to be somewhere around 4,000, which again is being called out as an exaggerated figure. And there's been a lot of debates around whether the film depicts all the facts carefully or does it simply try to propagate a propaganda. Mr. Khan says that if the film only depicted facts, then it would have been a documentary film, which it's not. But he clarifies some facts around the real incidents that had occurred in the valley around that period.
See, like I said, when we use the term film, we must understand that there is a fiction. I laid it out completely in front of you. 3 main incidents of terror crimes directed against Kashmiri Pandits intertwined into a plot. That is what this film is about. One is the killing of B.K. Ganju, a young Kashmiri Pandit engineer. Another is the killing of a young lab assistant from a school, Girja Tikku. And the third is the Nadi Marg massacre. All 3 incidents have been fictionalized to the extent of making it a cinematic experience for the cinegoer. Now, when I say fiction, nobody should take an offense to me saying a fiction. For instance, B.K. Ganju in the film has been named as Karan. B.K. Ganju's wife has been shown as Sharda, which has been played by Bhasha Sumli. And the same Sharda gets killed as Girja Tikku after the Nadi Marg massacre. Nadi Marg massacre, for instance, has been shown to be committed by Farooq Malik, Bitta, which is, an indicator of the Farooq Ahmad Dar, Bitta Karate. Nadi Marg massacre in reality was masterminded and committed and perpetrated by somebody called Zia Mustafa, who was a commander of Lashkar-e-Taiba and who was lately killed in a gunfight between security forces and terrorists in Poonch district. So that's one part of it, the cinematic experience. Number 2, as somebody who has lived this conflict, and I say this with complete authority, Hazrat Bal Mosque and Khankai Maula Mosque have never ever been the flashpoints of anti-Hindu protests. I'm not completely denying that, yes, there must have been a sloganeering from one mosque or the another, or maybe a couple of them. But is that incident, or are those incidents the collective representatives of the community? I would say no, with complete objectivity. Number 5, Lalla Ded Hospital has, since its inception and times immemorial, been a maternity hospital. It has never been a hospital meant for the treatment of ladies and gents for the ailments and treatment for the ailments and illnesses other than the gynecological diseases. And number 6, I have not come across any such report, being a keen observer of men and matters from day 1 of this conflict, where I could, be educated on the fact that Pandits were denied ration at ration depots, or they were denied treatment in hospitals, or it was a collective decision of the terror factory back then, and under some fatwa, some doctors denied medical treatment to the Kashmiri Pandit community. No, it has not happened at all.
Mr. Kaul also says that he doesn't want people to watch the film and blindly believe it, but he's of the opinion that the film has managed to kickstart a conversation.
See, I do not want people to watch the film and blindly believe it. I am happy with success of the film because it has triggered a conversation. Because, I have been, in my college time, I was an activist. And I had formed a group called Roots in Kashmir. And I was involved in awareness campaigns for the rights and justice to Kashmiri Pandits. And I remember 15 years ago, at that particular point of time, whenever we went to the media, nobody covered us. Whenever we organized a protest, the police arrested us. Whenever we objected to the presence of terrorists like Yasin Malik, we were branded as fascist, because we were questioning Yasin Malik. And there were several media organizations, NGOs, international forums that were giving platform to Yasin Malik, but were ignoring Kashmiri Pandits. So I'm very happy that a conversation has begun and Kashmiri Pandits are part of the conversation finally. It took 32 long years to only acknowledge the plight.
Now, as the film continues to create ripples in theatres and in political quarters, It has also found promotion in the Parliament from Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman during the presentation of the annual budget of Jammu and Kashmir on 15th March, where she had accused the Congress of denying the truth. Even Prime Minister Narendra Modi endorsed the film while using the opportunity to hit back at his critics, saying that, and I'm quoting him, quote, "The entire Jamaat that raised the flag of freedom of expression has been furious for 5 to 6 days. Instead of reviewing the film on the basis of facts and art, there's a conspiracy to discredit it." End quote. But now the question going forward is, what will the government do for this community? If you like listening to this episode, please subscribe to the Big Story playlist for episodic updates. We're live on Apple, Google Podcast, Spotify, JioSaavn, and most of the other popular podcast streaming platforms. For other podcasts, please log on to the Quint website and check out the podcast section. For any feedback, shoot an email to podcasts@thequint.com.
Thanks for listening. Log on to the Quint's website and check out our other podcasts.